Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And guess who's here today? Marlene Morris is here, and I'm so excited she's with us. And let me just give you a little bit of information about Marlene. She is the senior minister of Spirit Works. It's a center for spiritual living in Burbank, California. She's done this for about 2 decades. Marlene spoke at 3 weekly services, taught classes, wrote for various newsletters and publications, and created innovative and groundbreaking programs in relevant spirituality. Now, in 2000, she was awarded a doctorate of divinity, and we'll ask her about that when we get her on the show here. She is a certified hypnotherapist. She's a Reiki Master. She's a certified tarot reader, and she's the author of Becoming Gods, In the Company of the Chalice, The Key to Prosperity, and with Kat Young, Chart Your Course, 12 Days to a New Year and a New You. Marlene has collected tarot cards for decades. We're going to talk about this today. She was fascinated by the images that seemed to come alive for her, and she sensed a higher guidance and a deeper meaning than the little instruction book seems to suggest. So, Marlene, welcome to High Road to Humanity.
Thank you. It is great to be here. I'm very excited. I'm a fan of yours. And so the opportunity to be here and talk with you is exciting.
Well, cool. I'm glad you're here. Before we get into this, and this is something that I really want to talk about, because you guys, a lot of people are against the cards, and I want to talk about this because I think if they've gotten a bad rap, and I really want to set the record straight and give people an opportunity to look at, tarot from a different light, I guess is what I'm going to look at, because I'm a religious girl and I'm not against it. So I want to talk about this. But before we do, because it's High Road to Humanity, I have to talk about this. There was this Christmas parade in Wisconsin, and here's the headline I pulled today. Suspect in Wisconsin parade carnage was out on bail from previous case. And this is where I have an issue, and this is why I'm bringing this up. Well, other than all the people that were injured and killed, of course. The man accused of deliberately driving his car into a Christmas parade near Milwaukee, killing 5 people and injuring dozens, was out on bail from a domestic abuse case and was suspected in another violent altercation earlier that day, officials said on Monday. Now, the suspect, Daryl Brooks, 39, was arrested near the scene of Sunday's vehicular attack in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and he faces 5 counts of first-degree homicide. Waukesha Police Chief Daniel Thompson said, now, in addition to the 5 people killed, ranging in age from 52 to 81 to 48 were injured, including 6 children who remain hospitalized in critical condition on Monday's, authorities said. Among the victims were members of a parade group calling themselves the Dancing Grannies. According to a statement posted on Facebook on Monday, that just gives me chills, by the way. Thompson said the motive for the attack was still a mystery, but that it was clear that the suspect had acted intentionally. He drove right through the barricades, and the officers, Thompson told a briefing, added authorities had ruled out terrorism as a motive. Waukesha County District Attorney Sue Opper said the suspect acted alone. I guess this is my biggest issue here, and then I'll get off my soapbox. Brooks had a criminal history and was last released from custody after posting a $1,000 cash bond on November 11th. An amount the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office was inappropriately low in light of the nature of the recent charges against him. And this is what's happening right now. And this is what I want to make people aware of, that they're letting these people out on the $1,000 bond. And now he's killed 5 people and injured several. And there's children. What did it say? 48? I mean, Marlene, do you want to say anything about this?
Other than that, my heart is broken.
Right.
Again.
I know.
Because it's such a crazy thing. Previous to the $1,000 bond, he had been arrested for something, and they let him out on a $500 bond. which gave him the opportunity to go do the thing that he then needed the $1,000 bond for. And it's still way too cheap. This person should not have been on the streets. And we have to do something about the laws.
I agree.
Have
And
to.
that's, thank you for saying something. That's why I'm standing up. This is absolutely nuts and this cannot go on. And so I'm glad that you're here and we're talking about it. Marlene, talk to me. Tell me your story. I'm jealous. I've always wanted to be a minister. I guess this is as close as I'm going to get.
And you are.
Oh, God bless you.
Well, you are. The work you're doing. I mean, look at the title of your program, and that alone calls people to it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Tell us how you got into this work. How'd you get into the spiritual work and the ministry?
I was well, I used to call myself a non-traditional mother. Actually, I think my kids called me a non-traditional mother. And, pretty much raised my kids living out in the suburbs. And then everything sort of fell apart. The marriage fell apart. We were friends to the end, literally. But just friends. The love and the excitement had gone out of it. So I found myself out on my own, and a friend said, come to church with me. And I said, I don't do church. I didn't
grow up in the church.
I was raised in the church. I went to Catholic school for a while, off and on. But the church let me down at some pretty important points in my life.
They weren't there for you. Okay.
Say 3 Our Fathers and 2 Hail Marys and do the rosary and you'll be forgiven. And that didn't feel right. That wasn't answering my need. Mm-hmm. And so I went away from it. I took the kids to church on Christmas and Easter because, well, there's guilt, isn't there? And you want to make sure you're covering your bases. So I
used to do that too, Marlene. That's so funny. Okay.
And so this friend said, come to church. And she wouldn't leave me alone. She would not leave me alone. And I said, I don't do church. And she said, this isn't like church you've ever seen. And I finally said, because she wouldn't quit, I'll go with you if you will then shut up. I promise I will go once and then you got to leave me alone. And she said, fine. Smart woman that she was. And I went and I loved what I heard. The very first thing was don't leave your brain at the door. The second thing is God holds nothing against you. You don't need to be forgiven. And then it just went on from there. It was a metaphysical church. I loved it. I stayed. I studied to be a prayer counselor. And then one day sitting in church, a little voice, when I found myself saying, gee, I wouldn't have said that way. A little voice in my head said, how would you say it? And that led to Ministerial School.
Oh, where did you go to school?
I went to a weekend long for 3 years study course in San Jose, which actually took me back to where I had graduated from high school.
Oh my God.
And it was fabulous.
That was not by mistake, actually.
No, I was pretty clear. The very first writing assignment in the first class was pull out a sheet of paper and write while you're here. And I picked up a pen and wrote because my entire life has brought me here. Everything that has happened has made me who I am and brought me to this moment. And I know I'm in the right place. That's
awesome.
And graduated from Ministerial School, got a church pretty much immediately as an assistant minister.
Really?
And then a few months later, literally, the Burbank church came open and I went to my mentor minister and said, what do you think of this church? And he said, that's your church. And they said, we want a seasoned minister with lots of experience. And here I am, very wet behind the ears, practically a brand new graduate. And I got the job.
Wonderful. How long have you been doing it now?
Well, I was there for 20 years. I'm not there now.
Okay.
I'm doing independent work, but I was there for actually 19 plus years. And
wow.
And then I needed to get healthy. I was overextended. I wasn't taking care of myself. So we moved to Cambria, and I was there for about a year when I said, okay, now I'm bored. What am I going to do? And the Unity Church
Oh,
asked,
yes.
Unity Church asked me to do a meditation on Prayer Sunday, and I did. And I was writing them a thank you note, and somebody wrote in that note, if you ever need a full-time minister, let me know. And I looked at it and said, where did that come from? And 2 weeks later, I was their full-time minister.
Wow.
And I was there for 4.5 years until we moved to Ventura. So now I'm guest speaking occasionally at the Unity Church here.
Yeah.
And then Tarot showed up in my life. So it's been very interesting. I do a spiritual Tarot reading. I don't know how not to.
Right. I agree with you.
That's who I am. I can't leave that out. But I love it. I'm passionate about it. And apparently I'm pretty good at it.
You know, you're the first person that I've had on my show to talk about tarot. And I'm really glad you're the one, because you have the perfect background. And I really like the Unity Church. I'll have to tell you a story off air sometime about the Unity Church and why I don't go, why I stay home. So it's just me and God. It's, but anyway, I like the Unity Church out of a lot of the churches that are out there. I grew up in the Church of Christ, but I like them because the first time I went, they talked about Mother God and Father God. And it was like, wow, this is cool. These people get it. To a certain degree. Anyway, I've got to go to commercial break here. You guys, I'm here today with Marlene Morris, and we're going to be talking about tarot. This is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity, and we'll be right back. This is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Marlene Morris. We're having a wonderful conversation. Marlene, talk to us. I pulled out my book, and I'll tell you why. I'm a psychic. I have clear cognizance, but once a week, the audience doesn't know this, but I always share my secrets. Once a week, I pull out these cards, and there's a reason I do it. And this is the book I use. And the reason I do it is because it gives me more information. And I pulled something from the book, and it says, tarot is a tool that can be used for orientating oneself on the path toward greater awareness. It's a vast path with many turns. It is a guide to the realm of inner transformation, revealing hidden messages and enlarging one's vision of the self and the cosmos.
Yeah.
Talk about the tarot.
Well, there's a lot of mythology around it to
Okay.
begin with.
Okay.
What we do know is that sometime in the 15th century, the first actual deck was created. There are stories that it dates back to ancient Egypt. Someone said to me the other day, as long as there were gypsies, there were tarot. And I think probably an element of that is true, whether they used just pieces of paper or just talked about images. You know that. You see things, you feel them, you know what you know. And I believe that there are many, well, I believe everyone is capable of doing that, but not everyone opens themselves up to it. But those who have, and the gypsy mentality would keep them open to that because they're very universal in their thinking. We don't really know how long it goes back. Like I say, there's recorded history is the 15th century.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
The first lady who did tarot cards with me was a friend of mine, Naomi, 20 some years ago. And she used the original, and they were from France. They were French. Is that right? The original are the original French or are they Egyptian?
The original cards
I'm confused. Yeah, cards.
are Italian.
Oh, see, I need to know these things. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the original cards are Italian. Then they went to the Italians called it tarocchi.
Okay.
Then it went to France, where they, of course, had to make it their own, so they called it tarot. But it's all the lineage of the actual physical cards goes back to Italy, and the French created the Marseille deck,
Right,
which,
right.
which is probably the closest to existent decks today. Most of the decks today are children of that.
Okay. I just think it's fascinating. Don't you find it all fascinating?
Yes, and the more I learn, the more fascinating it becomes. The
Okay.
history is like its own rabbit hole to fall into.
Okay. I want to ask you something just because
Uh-huh.
it's on the tip of my tongue here. It's been bothering me all morning. You know, I feel like intuitively that the tarot, I like how you say tarot, I like that, has, I feel like it's been hidden from, like it's been given a bad name on purpose because it works. Am I
Yeah,
right?
that.
Yeah.
The more I work / play with it,
Uh-huh.
the more I realize how well it works. And I have clients tell me all the time when I do a reading, how could you have known that?
Mhm.
Or tell me later, you know, you said whatever, and my God, you know, the next day
Mhm.
the phone rang, the letter came, the something
Mhm.
happened.
Mhm.
I intuit the cards. I
Right.
really do.
Right.
And you know, there are books that say this card means that and this card means that, and sometimes that's true, and sometimes my intuition will say, not today, that's not what that card means today.
It means something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did a spread for me a couple months ago, and I
Mhm.
appreciate that. I wanted to say thank you. That was really nice of
You're
you.
welcome. It was a
And you
pleasure.
were right on the money. I really, but when I tell you this, and I like this book, are you familiar with this book?
Yeah.
This is one of the best I found.
It's a very good book.
And let me tell you why this is so important. And I want to get your take on this, Marlene. Since somebody told me to get this deck, and I had got about a year ago, and to get this book, so a spiritual person. So I did. And like why I do it once a week is because there's so much meaning. And what's happened is it's forced me to grow and to look at things differently. These cards, their meanings. What do you think about that? That's what's happened.
So here's what I think. I think everything and everyone is interconnected.
Right.
And it's all part of the spirit within each one of us, that every once in a while we open our eyes and see what's really there. If it's known in the mind of God, and by definition, whatever it is,
Right.
what the cards do is break through our preconceptions, break through our stuckness in appearances, and open our minds and our hearts to a larger truth that's known within us. But they elicit it, they pull it out, they tweak us so that we can see what's really going on, which too often we don't. You know, we get stuck in the way things look and the way things feel and what we're afraid of. And I don't think the magic, you know, the magic is not in the cards. These are pieces of paper with pictures on them.
Is it our energy that's pulling it? Is it God's energy? What's giving us the message? I wanted to ask you that.
I believe God's energy is within each and every one of us.
I do too.
And so, you know, yes, you can say it's God's energy. Yes, you can say it's our energy, but aren't they the same thing?
Yes.
You know, the truth within us reveals the truth one way or another. And the cards are a really good way to do that.
Now let's rewind a little bit. We got about 6 minutes. How did you, here you are a minister for all these different churches. How did you get into doing tarot? Because according to the church, and or even people have made comments on my show, every time I pull a card, it's like, blasphemy. And it's like, you guys, come on. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a little judgy. Talk to me about how this came about and your feelings on this.
Well, I think part of it is that for probably since the 15th century, the cards have always had this little mythological attachment to gypsies. And a lot of people are scared of gypsies and the dark stories.
You think they're dark?
Do. Yeah. There are also a lot of, well, the church stands against most stuff like this.
Yeah. Why?
Church.
Why do you think?
Because it puts, okay, here I go. Now I'm going to get myself in trouble.
No, I want to know. I mean, that's why you're here.
That's true. I believe that the church frequently disallows, there's a nice word, disallows the things like tarot and clairvoyance and
It's natural. I can't help that. I know. I just know.
know.
And it doesn't come from me. It comes from God.
Yes.
So what's the difference? Here's my big thing. I guess I'm irritated by my audience. Some people who give me bad raps
Yeah,
because
they're listening to you. Why aren't they listening to you?
well, because here's the deal, right? The information comes through, I mean, immediate, you know that. It comes immediate. You ask a question and boom, it's right there. There's no hesitation. And that's the answer. And it's always right because it comes from God. But when I do the cards, it expands the story.
Yeah.
It gives more information. But the minute you say you're doing the cards, because of this, like, I don't know, dark cloud over these cards, which has been made. I mean, people like go, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Now you're doing witchy stuff. You're doing hocus
Right,
pocus.
right. And I'm not doing hocus pocus, and you're not doing hocus pocus. And here's what I think. And I just want to say, and then I'll shut up and let you talk. You can make anything dark.
Sure.
Or you can make it light. So talk about that part of it. I mean, it doesn't have to be negative. I don't think the gypsies were dark.
No, I don't either. I think they just were different. And
Right.
we're funny about things that are different, aren't we?
Yes.
Just overall, there's a couple of trials going on right now that talk about exactly that.
True.
If it's different than we are, all too often, people who are not open
Mhm.
want it out of their lives. Just,
My way or the highway.
yeah, just get out of here. Don't be walking down my street. Don't be, just
Uh-huh.
stay out of my life. And if sadly, we're very much afraid of things we don't understand. And rather than learning about them so that we do understand them, we want to just push them out of our life or the world
Right.
and get them out of our faces.
Right.
Um,
Or call them bad or negative
Yeah.
or
or
yeah.
devil inspired, Satan stuff.
Well, yeah. And then I'm back to the same point where I think they actually work, and the people who are in charge know they work. And so they were hidden from humanity because they didn't want them to have the same abilities that they do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's really that simple. If the cards can connect you to your spirit,
I know.
and if your spirit is your direct connection to God,
Mhm.
to the spirit, to creation, then that's scary if you're in an organization that says you have to come through us to get there.
Yeah. There you go. Unfortunately, isn't that sad?
Yeah, well, and there's, history upon history upon history of that. So
Yeah. Keep them down.
that is
Don't tell them the truth. Yeah. I can remember as a kid realizing that in the Catholic Church, there were no Bibles.
that's right.
And
And being raised Catholic, I'm here to tell you, we were not
Yeah.
taught Bible.
isn't that something?
That was stuff that the nuns and the priests knew about, but we didn't study it.
Unbelievable. I know. It's just unbelievable that all this has gone on in our world. Hey, we got to go to commercial break. When we come back, will you do some spreads for us?
I'd love to.
Okay, cool. Hey, it's Nancy. You're out. I'm here today with Marlene Morris. We're talking about tarot. We're talking about God. We're talking about life. This is High Road to Humanity, and we'll be right back. Hi, this is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Marlene Morris, and we're talking about the tarot cards. I wrote down there are 1,200 symbols and 78 cards.
78 cards for sure, at least 1,200 symbols. Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought
And
that
that's
was
before
really
you start reading into them and seeing more in them than the book says.
right. Okay, so let's do, I just have all kinds of ideas. Let's do a spread on moving into the fifth dimension,
Ooh.
taking our vibration up. What does the tarot tell us? Like for humanity, this is for humanity now.
Okay, humanity, listen up.
All right, here we go. It's for you guys.
And I'm going to do a simple 3-card spread.
Oh,
because
okay.
otherwise we could be here all day.
Yes.
And what I do is I shuffle the cards till it feels right, usually 3 times.
Okay.
And then I kind of do an overhand shuffle.
Okay.
Just to make sure everybody's really mixed up in there. And then I just go through the deck. A lot of people take the top 3 cards.
Oh, okay. You pull them out.
I go through the deck
Oh, wow.
until somebody says, I don't want to go there. I pull that one out. And then I go some more. The cards literally just seem to
They
stop.
talk to you. They speak to you.
Yeah, they do.
That's interesting.
There we go. There's 3. And it's usually 3. Sometimes it's 4. Sometimes it'll only do 2.
Okay. Is it past, present, future?
If that's what I choose. And I
Okay.
stayed right open on this one.
Okay.
So I'm going to say this one's current
Okay.
because we didn't give it a timeline.
That's fine.
You can say right from the very beginning, what I want is past, present, future. What I want is what to do, what to think, what to be. Any 3 questions if you're pulling 3 cards. I've got these 3.
Wow. Look at that. Pentacles, justice. And what's the last one?
Got a little of everything. Justice. This is cups.
What are cups?
4 of
Okay.
cups.
Okay.
And that was the first card. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 of cups is about dissatisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about seeing possibilities. I love this card. What we have is this little gentleman sitting under a tree looking like he's pouting.
I didn't
Not
get
happy with what's in front of him.
it.
Not seeing the 3 cups. He's clearly seeing them. He's not happy with it.
Okay.
Very dissatisfied with the way things. And this hand is reaching out of a cloud with yet another cup. And he's not even seeing it. He's not even looking. He's so busy being dissatisfied that he's not seeing what's possible.
What's being offered?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And what can yet happen? He's just busy pouting, whining. The Justice card, for all the Libras, this is your card. The Justice card is all about karma. As you create, so it is. While Justice is holding the scales in the left hand and balancing the world and life, he's also holding a sword. Swords are truth, ideas, thoughts, and pointing it up, connecting, spirit, balance.
That's really
As above,
cool.
so below. The Magician says the same thing in his cards.
As above, so below. Yeah.
And the Page of Pentacles, he's an interesting little guy. The Page of Pentacles is, if I were
Messenger?
to give him one word, I would say hope, vision.
Oh, okay.
He's about learning. He's about, but it's not like book learning. It's more like
Spiritual?
knowledge. Yeah. Internal life knowledge. Reaching out, and he's hopeful. He's hopeful. While the pages are all about adventure. Let me go. Let's go do this thing. But they're not. Whereas the Knights are about jumping on the horse and riding out with the mission. The pages aren't quite ready to do that yet, but they want to be. They want to be in service. They want to learn. They want to make life better, but they still have a bit to learn.
Gotcha. That makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Go ahead and give me your synopsis on that.
So I'm going to say that for humanity, there's a lot of whining and pouting going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's unjustified. It's just real. we're dissatisfied with the way things are, and we're not seeing the possibilities. We're so busy griping that we're not seeing what we might yet do to make things better. Karma, justice is about, we've created this. We've got to own that this is the playing out of what we collectively have set in motion.
Have created.
And we need to connect with a higher power. Let's just call it that. We need to connect with something good and true and eternal so that we can balance the scales and bring things back into alignment. And let's be hopeful about that. Let's not be the guy in the first card who's complaining and whining. Let's be the guy in the last card that is willing to learn what he needs to learn so that he's ready to do what needs to be done and is hopeful about the future.
And what I see is that this will happen, you guys, as more and more people wake up to the justice that needs to occur, then things will change and people will connect to God or to the divine, like you said, whatever you want to call it, higher vibration.
I like to call it the creative motivating force of the universe. And then you don't offend anybody. You know, in the same way that there are those people that if you say tarot, go, devil.
You know, come on.
That if you say God, do almost the same thing, because they look at history and see what religion has done and blame that on God, which is terribly unfair.
Right.
Better we should stay open. And I have found atheists who will listen if I talk about the creative motivating force of the universe. I had a musician come to me one time and say, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I don't even know why I'm here. And I said, well, your wife told you to come. That's why you're here. And he said, well, yeah, okay. And he said, you know, how can you believe in God? I said, you're a musician, right? And he said, yeah. I said, have you ever hit the perfect note or the perfect stream of notes that changes you, that you feel it in your body, your mind goes, he said, yeah. I said, that's God.
That's right. What a wonderful analogy. Yeah.
You know,
And
find the language that the person that's with you can understand.
That's
and speak to their soul, their spirit. Don't speak to their head. And it's amazing what you can get done. I love these cards today because the order is even perfect.
Isn't that great? Now, you guys see what she did? That wasn't ooey gooey or weird. That really gave us a nice message for humanity from the divine. All right, I have another one.
Okay.
So are we going to see change in 2022 for humanity? We have 4 minutes.
We have 4 minutes. Let's go here. Come on. Are we going to see change?
Marlene, you're so fun. Okay, cool. I'm so glad you're here today.
I am.
This is awesome.
Okay, we got 2. Give me one more. Oh, okay. Are we going to see change? Woo!
Oh, wow.
Okay, let me put these in the right order for the camera, which is this way.
Okay. How exciting.
Okay. We have the 10 of Swords.
Oh, look at that. Stabbed in the back.
Yeah, think Caesar.
Okay.
Okay. Betrayal. The end of autocracy. The
end of the lies. The end of the lies.
The end of the lies. I got to tell you, okay, here I go again. But he talked so much about betrayal, and I thought,
what?
This is about betrayal. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're a bad guy, but it's about the tables turning. You know,
But I think, well, and I think that the media and all the stuff that they've told us and all the lies that they've told us, it's going to come to an end.
Yeah. And I think that's what this figure represents more than anything is
Mhm.
the end of the lies.
Yeah, because even it just as of late, with all these trials that you were talking about and everything that's been going on, it all came out that it was all lies,
Yeah.
and that's so we see an end to it. All right, what's the next one?
Okay. This card is about benevolence.
Oh.
It's about paying it forward. It's about generosity of spirit. It's about those with the most,
Giving.
considering those with the least, and sharing.
Giving. It's Thanksgiving. Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
not for now. We did this for next year, but it's giving
Yeah.
giving back to those who are less fortunate. Okay.
And the final card, I love this one for this. This is the Six of Swords.
What
We
is that?
started out with swords.
Right.
First card was swords. The second card was pentacles, which is about material things. This one is about going to a better place, which, given the question, are we going to see change in 2022? This card says yes, and you will be going to a better place. The water in the front of the card, representing where they were, is choppy.
And smoother waters are ahead.
Smoother waters are ahead, and they're going to a place that is calm and welcoming, and no one has to do it alone. I love that analogy within the cards, is that there is help in the form of the boatman. There are two people in the seat of the boat. It looks like a mother and a child, but it could be any two people. But the idea is that they're going together and that there is assistance available. They don't have to do this alone, that they will do it together, and they're definitely going to a better place.
I love it. We're going to have her do some more spreads when we come back. You guys,
Sure.
I'm here today. Marlene, how do people get in contact with you if they want a reading?
Allstartarot.com.
Wow. And do you do it by Zoom or how do you do it?
What I generally do, I work really well with just written questions. If people want to write out their questions, when we come back, I'll tell you what I'd like to do is a 3-card reading for anybody that wants it for free.
Oh my gosh.
Test it out, and I'll tell you how to do that.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome of you. Wow. You guys, I'm here today with Marlene Morris. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we'll be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Marlene Morris. She's giving me advice, you guys, on the break. I don't want to go back to the doctor. And she's like, yes, you have to go. I wrote something down that I thought was cool. I'm going to read before we do it. And then you're going to talk. You said some more about this, but I wrote this from this book that I have. It says Aleister Crowley's life work was an attempt to extract and unify the essential truth of all the traditional schools of wisdom and religions and make that truth available in one complete system, help modern humanity in the search for God, realization, and oneness. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's what
Crowley was an interesting character. He was a contemporary of A. White, who created the Rider Tarot deck, and very late 1800s. He led a pretty wild life. He was a hedonist, oh boy, and
I didn't know that.
he put his thoughts on paper and created the Thoth Tarot, which kind of looks like he might have been on drugs when he thought about it. But yeah, I think most of these guys were absolutely committed to creating something better for humanity, for a guide for more spiritual living.
That's exactly what I got out of this. When I read this, I was like, wow, because this was taught, there's a lot of, they call them the mystery schools, and tarot is taught in the mystery schools. I don't know if people know that or not. What do you want to tell us, Marlene? What are you thinking?
Well, one personally for you.
Oh God. Okay, go ahead. You can. You can
Is
tell
that
me.
if you, as if you need any confirmation.
No, I do. Everybody does. I'm human.
Right.
Hello.
Before we went on air at all, I wanted to pull a card for you.
Oh, thank you.
And
bless you.
and so I shuffled and reshuffled and had the deck all ready and went through as I do, waiting for a card to jump out. Nobody jumped out. I thought, what the heck is going on here?
Oh, that's good.
So I put it down and I started again, and it wasn't happening. So I just pulled the top card.
Okay.
The top card was the Seven of Wands.
Okay.
This card is about taking the high road.
Oh my God.
It is very specifically a message that as long as you stay on the high road, I don't make this stuff up. As long as you take the high road and stay on the high road, you will always have the advantage.
That's what, yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, you know, I will say to you, I'm all about integrity and honesty and, you know, getting our morals and our values back. We've lost, you know, it used to be you shook somebody's hand and that was a bond.
Yeah.
Used to be your name meant something. You know, used to be you had integrity. You wouldn't lie. And we've lost. And that's why I do this show, honestly, because I'm old fashioned. I grew up with those values, you see, and I've watched them being lost, and we have got to bring them back. We have to. Thank you for pulling that, by the way.
You're very welcome. I thought, of course. And of course it's the top card. Why didn't I look there first?
Well, thank you. And I appreciate that. And that's why I do the show. And I'm glad you're here today. Talk about, you know, humanity in December, or let's do something for Thanksgiving. What do you think?
Okay.
You want to do something for Thanksgiving? How's Thanksgiving looking for? Let's just say, should we just say the United States, since we're pretty much the people who do Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Yes, it's not, I was going to say worldwide, but it's really not worldwide.
I'm gonna pull just one card on
For
this one,
Thanksgiving?
because that's what it seems to. It's the Knight of Pentacles.
Okay, what's that mean?
The knight, he's my favorite knight.
Oh,
The rest of them are all about get up and go, jump on the horse and ride off in whatever direction it wants to go. The Knight of Pentacles is the slow guy. You know, he's, if you want to get there fast, he's not your knight. But if you want to get there for sure, this is the guy. He's been there. He knows the way. He's slow and steady and reliable. And
So is this about people traveling, like slow and steady wins the race?
I think it's partially about that.
Okay.
You know, don't be in such a hurry. You're going to get there. You know the way.
Okay.
And maybe it's just about all of us getting to a better place for Thanksgiving, to move into that place of gratitude and love and caring, and don't look for the quick fix.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to get you there. But just slow and steady, do what you know to be right. That's what this guy is.
That's really nice. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. That's a nice Thanksgiving message. All right. Now, you knew I was going to ask you this question. So, what do you see coming up with the COVID whole situation? Is that thing going to be done and over with? I feel like it's fizzling out. What do you think?
Let's see.
Has a lot of have people ask you this question, Marlene?
Interestingly enough, no, I think they're almost afraid to.
Oh.
So thanks for having the courage to ask the question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She's laughing, you guys. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, okay, here are our 3 cards.
Whoa. Okay.
The star is probably the most spiritual card in the deck.
Yes. Is that the first one?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Talk to us. Yeah. And then
we
what?
have the Queen of Pentacles, who is the most intuitive of the queens. And queens are receptive.
Okay.
They're open, they're accepting, they're good, they're calming, they're nurturing. And then the third card is the King of Wands, who is steady, he's solid, and he's got ideas. He's the thinker in the group. So I'm going to say that what the cards are trying to tell us is, first of all, know that something spiritual is going on. And the question was about COVID. So know that it's probably calling us all to a more centered place, to ask more deeper questions, more important questions.
Go within.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that going within is going to create a greater without, a greater exterior.
Okay.
The Queen of Pentacles is here to tell us that we are all fortunately intuitive.
Yes.
And that we can learn to use that for our own greater good. And the King of Wands says ideas are forthcoming. There's gonna be a solution if we stay in the right place, heart and soul. If we trust, if we learn to go within and trust what we know, that may have more to do with how we are right now. That's my gut feeling on that, is that,
Spiritual.
follow your intuition, better than intuition, inner knowing, follow your higher knowing.
So I'm going to ask one more question. If you don't mind, can I ask you one more?
Go for it.
So this is for holiday, and I just want to say, with the holidays coming, it's kind of a catch-22. All these cargo ships are sitting in the water, and people aren't going to have their Christmas stuff. Or are they going to have their Christmas stuff? This is going to be the question. Because in one way, I think, maybe they aren't going to have everything. And maybe this is a way of teaching humanity that the stuff is not so important. And that's not what we have Christmas and the holidays. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think things are going to be available and flowing for the holidays? Or are those cargo ships going to get out? I'm curious about this. Or is humanity going to have to say, well, maybe we'll have to do without all the junk this year?
Well,
does that sound cynical?
No. It sounds like, I love hearing your old-fashioned girl come out.
Well, it's true. I just wrote an article from Hands to the Heart for Eden Magazine, and it's about making things like cookies for Christmas and wreaths and homemade cards and stuff that people will hold on to because you made it. And that's where this is coming from, actually. Yeah.
So 3 cards.
I can hardly wait. Would you ask?
What are the holidays going to look like? And
okay.
Are our ships going to come in?
Okay, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
Okay, so what we have is the Hierophant, the High Priestess, and the Tower. The Hierophant is all about religion, traditional religion, learning, sticking to it. And I think, I believe that, well, especially these 2 cards back to back, the Hierophant and the High Priestess. The Hierophant is traditional religion. The High Priestess is non-traditional religion. But there they both are. Side by side, coexisting, not blowing each other up. I think it's a call to go back to whatever spirituality looks like to you for the holidays. Put that first. Whether it's your traditional religious values or whether it's, a lot of people in the world these days saying, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual.
Right. And that's fine. Sure. Yeah.
So here you go. Both of you coexist. functional religion, traditional, fundamental religion, or spirituality, they're really one and the same thing, aren't they?
Right. You be you.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
right to you?
Right.
The Tower is about old ways of thinking,
Mhm.
or old organizations falling apart. Newness is coming.
Love it.
Yeah. And what
Love it.
a great message is that we don't have to be one or the other. We don't have to be separate. We can join together and create something new out of it. And yes, will that look like things are falling apart? Might.
Mhm.
But sometimes things fall apart so that they can come together.
And be rebuilt.
Yeah. In a new way that serves everybody at a higher level.
Isn't that interesting? God, I love that. That's so great.
Yeah.
Marlene, we got to get out of here. Tell everybody how they can find you again.
My website is All Star Tarot, all one word, allstartarot.com.
Okay.
What I'd like you to do, if you would like a 3-card reading, is go to the contact page, send me a note with your name and your email and your question, and I'll get back to you with whatever the cards have to say about your question.
I think that's so nice.
Holiday gift.
Oh my, I think that's amazing that you would do that for the audience. You guys, you got to take her up on this because she's pretty darn good. She's done my cards before. You know, if you guys want a psychic reading, go to nancyyearout.com and click on the book button and you can book your date and time with me. Marlene, I'm just thrilled that you came on today. I hope you'll come back. We'll do this again.
I'd love to.
Oh my gosh, we should do it like monthly or something. Okay. All right. Wouldn't that be fun? We should do it. All right, you guys. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. Everybody take care. God bless and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Everybody take care. Bye.
Yeah.
Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road.
Hey, you guys, join me next week on The High Road for more stories filled with wisdom, love, and hope for our future. Have a fabulous week and know that by staying on the high road, you will make it to your destination. Visit my website, nancyyearout.com, where you can book a private session to learn how to tap into your own abilities. And check out my YouTube channel. It's Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity.
You can achieve your goal.